Hello everyone, welcome to True Crime and Tarot. I am Natalie, and today's case I'm going to be speaking to you about is Tabitha Danielle Tudors, and she was born on February the 15th, 1990. Her birthplace was in Nashville in Tennessee. Her hair colour is sandy blonde, blue eyes, height 5'1" at the time of her disappearance. Her weight was 100 pounds at the time of her disappearance as well, and she is a white female. The FBI is offering a reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to the recovery of Tabitha Tudors and the prosecution of the person that is responsible for her disappearance. Tabitha has a birthmark on her stomach and she has a scar on her finger. Both of her ears are pierced, and Tabitha was last seen on early hours of the morning of April the 29th, 2003 at her residence in Nashville in Tennessee, and she left the house on her way to try and board the school bus but never got on the bus, and she did not arrive at her school on that day. She have not been seen or heard from since, and the field office is in Memphis. Tabitha was an excellent student in the 7th grade with straight A's, and she has a perfect attendance at the Bailey Middle School. She was attending the school. She had just brought home an excellent report card going into the end of term, and she was looking very much forward to a trip to Six Flags in Kentucky Kingdom in early May at this time, where she had disappeared. Neighbours have said that she could be very smart with her adults, be very smart with friends. Noticed that she did complain about babysitting her sister's children, but these were likely just part of growing up. Tabitha was a very cheerful and friendly person. She was very active in her neighborhood and the local community. She often visited with more than elderly neighbors, as she had recently become a very active member of her friend's church and singing in the choir and eagerly participating in church activities. Tabitha is remembered very much fondly as a friendly girl with limitless energy who enjoyed watching horror films with her friends and just hanging out with all her family members. Her family had consisted of Tabitha, Jamie, the older sister, by 8 years. So Jamie was also dating a young man who had been living at the home that was previously their home, and he will prove to be very relevant in this case. Kevin, which is the older brother by 12 years. Deborah is the mother, and Irvin, which is aka Bo, which is her father. So these are the preceding events at this time. So on April the 28th, 2003, Tabitha had met her friends at school as usual and asked one of them, Ronnie Velasquez, to stop by at Tuesday afternoon and help her to babysit. She had then spent the evening with another friend and family, which is Chelsea Craig, at the softball game. Seemingly, she was very happy and normal at this time. That night, she returned home when she ended up sleeping in her parents' room while Jamie slept in Tabitha's room. Tabitha would apparently often end up in her parents' room all night, sleeping in her parents' room at night, sleeping on a pile of pillows, blankets that's arranged on the floor at the foot of their bed, and her parents have said that she felt very safe there. The disappearance. So the morning of April the 29th dawned much like any other school day as the family began to prepare the day. Around 6 a.m, Deborah slept in, well, a bit longer. And Bo then was getting ready for school, and also he headed out then to work. A few minutes later, expecting Tabitha to try and walk to the bus stop per usual to try and catch the 8:05 bus, Jamie claimed that she woke up after Tabitha and left, and the two did not speak on that morning. Tabitha left sometime after 7:30, not taking a backpack, but proudly carrying her most recent report card back to the school. Neighbours have confirmed seeing her walking down the block towards the bus stop at roughly 14th Street and Boscobel Street. The path should have only taken her 10 minutes, and Tabitha was known to follow the same path very much daily. Some of the witnesses noted that she appeared to be casually meandering down the hill towards the bus stop, looking at papers in her hands. It did not appear that she was in a hurry or looking for anyone. The last confirmed sighting was at 7:50 a.m., 15 minutes before her bus was expected to arrive. Tabitha's parents didn't suspect anything was wrong until they arrived home later that night and found out that Tabitha had never returned home from school. This was very strange, since she was supposed to babysit together earlier that afternoon. Usually, Tabitha would arrive by 4 p.m. When she was still not home at 4:10 p.m., her mother walked towards the bus stop to see if she could spot her there. Deborah had then drove to the Bailey Middle School, but initially found that it was closed and returned home to wait anxiously. Boa arrived home after work, which was 5 p.m, and drove Deborah back to the middle school. Upon arrival, they were told Tabitha had never made it to school that morning and in fact never even got on the bus. She vanished somewhere along the way. Police were quickly called by 6 p.m. and responded about 45 minutes later. An investigation was launched, but 10 crucial hours of Tabitha had already passed between her heading for school and when her parents learned that she was in fact missing. So this is then a runaway theory. So, as with many other cases involving children over 13, police originally assumed Tabitha might simply have been a runaway. As an assumption, they ended up costing them precious time in the investigation. They refused to report a file of an Amber Alert, and they were on record suggesting that she was yet another troubled child that was left at home. And then there was the assumption appears to have been poorly founded in a general. While nothing could be ruled out at this time, neither should one leap to another theory over the others. Tabitha had complained about babysitting and was at an age where she may have been starting to spread her wings a bit more independently. However, she had perfect attendance at school. Breaking that record in order to get out of babysitting seems over the top. More believable would have been if she had vanished after school. Her parents and friends all agree Tabitha was unlikely a runaway. She had no history of running away and had not discussed such an idea with friends. She showed no signs of emotional or mental distress. Those familiar with the family said that there were no signs of a troubled home life. An investigation of the home suggests that Tabitha left behind all of her possessions. Her money, she took nothing but clothes that she was wearing on the day, and also when she had some school papers that was in her hands that she had been seen with on that day. Police eventually acknowledged that she was not a runaway, and that the current theory is that she was kidnapped off the street at some point. The family, along with many others, had questioned the diligence and the attention of the police dedicated to this case. Many believe that the police did not take her disappearance very seriously and have failed to look into key tips or the suspects, simply saying that there are too many suspects and nothing can be ruled out at this time. The family continues to express their concerns that they are not kept up to date with how the investigation and the proceedings are often left to hear straight on the news, with the public and also things going through to the media. Then we have the search. So the police launched a rapid search of the neighbourhood and the surrounding areas in the 5-mile radius, and they published a notice through the 10 p.m. nightly news. The family, friends, volunteers and police would continue to comb the region for weeks after, but they were no avail. No trace of Tabitha has been found, but her family continues to pursue the case. A team of volunteers known as Team Tabitha continues to search for answers in support of the family who deeply misses her. We then have too many suspects, no real evidence. So the case dissolved into a constant battle between numerous potential suspects. Even today, there are at least 8 or more active persons of interests. in a war of no real evidence. Key evidence and key events and facts. So number 1, witnesses have confirmed that Tabitha made it to the intersection and crossed the road at the bottom of the hill onto Boscopel, and she was virtually at the bus stop when she had vanished. Number 2, Tabitha was sighted near the bus stop at 7:50 a.m, 15 minutes before the bus was due to arrive. There is no proof that she did not travel somewhere in those 15 minutes expecting to make it back before the bus arrived. Consequently, it cannot be proven that she disappeared from the 14th and the Baskerville. Number 3, 11-year-old classmate of Tabitha's was waiting at that bus stop and claimed to have seen Tabitha. According to him, Tabitha had walked down to the hill when suddenly a red vehicle had pulled up right beside her. Tabitha had got into the car then, voluntarily or by force. This is unknown. The car reversed and went back up the hill in the direction of her school, although police have not confirmed that the boy's story and the K9 units brought into the track of Tabitha's scent tracked her down the hill and then turned around and went back up, just as the boy had said. And the dogs eventually hit a dead end, and this was in the alleyway. The family claims that Tabitha would never have taken a ride from a stranger, but it is not clear to what extent the acquaintances or neighbours would have been considered as strangers. Tabitha was 15 minutes early for the bus, and it is possible that someone offered her a ride that she, in fact, trusted. The description of the driver and the car has both been matched, which is Jamie's boyfriend at the time. He had been living with the family previously and was familiar with Tabitha's schedule. She always left at the same time every day, and she would take the same route every day. The finished work at 7 a.m. and would have been available at this time. Furthermore, he was very familiar to Tabitha's life. He also failed to participate in the search. The police have never called the boyfriend a person of interest in this case, and some articles suggest that they have cleared him of any involvement, and it is not clear how true this is. Does he have an alibi? Family and friends say that the boy has never changed his story, and many believe his story was very much validated. So there was a description that was given. African American male, 30 to 40 years of age, wearing a baseball cap and having a red vehicle. In 2008, police ran a story in the news for the 5th anniversary to see if it would jog people's memory at this time. A man had reportedly told Deborah that he had seen the car, but it was green instead. Police shared the informant and later received a tip that Tabitha was seen near a green Mustang that had a scorpion decal attached. Unfortunately, these reports were years later, and the reliability must be considered. It does not automatically mean the boy was wrong. So we have number 4. So one of the witnesses who testified that he saw Tabitha on her way is not necessarily considered reliable. The witness also claimed to pick up a young boy who had missed his bus at the corner of the 19th and Shelby. The Nashville scene then suggested that this was too far for him to also have seen Tabitha. However, it should be remembered that Tabitha was 15 minutes early. The boy missed his bus, suggesting that the man may have picked him up later. The distance is only 5 blocks, so it is not unfeasible, as some people suggest. But nonetheless, the police became very suspicious due to the witness' inability to explain why he was in the area and his vulgar descriptions of Tabitha when the family had said that he should not have known her at all. Police searched his home but found nothing. Number 5, April 30th on 2003. Police found a strange note in Tabitha's bedroom that read T.D.T. to N to M T L. If T.D.T equals Tabitha Danielle Tudors, police wanted to know who M.T.L. was. One article suggested that M.T.L. might have been the older boy, the 18-year-old that Tabitha knew, but police were able to authenticate his alibi. He was at school. Tabitha may have simply had a childhood crush in that case. 6. Police also found a business card with Tabitha's name, address, phone number printed on it. Someone had written "Call me" and "Sexy Girl" on it, but then scribbled out "Sexy Girl" and wrote "Ghetto Girl." While later the friend had claimed that the card was a joke, it seems to have been a rather mature joke for children their age to be making, especially when considering later theories the police had regarded prostitution and possible drug involvement. Furthermore, Tabitha had been visiting chat rooms online at the school library, but the chat history could not be recovered. Number 7, May the 16th, 2003. The Oldham couple then were living across the street from the Tudors when Tabitha had disappeared. In May 2003, they were arrested on charges related to a sexual assault of a minor girl. The wife, Kimberly Oldham, had forced the child to strip, whereupon the husband, Timothy Oldham, attempted to rape the girl. They were interrupted by their son and the girl escaped. Police have never declared a link to those of Tabitha's disappearance. Number 8. So there's other suspicious persons living in the neighbourhood. Millard Earl Smith, a registered sex offender who was charged in 2003 with attempting to assault a boy from Tabitha's school and raping a woman he kidnapped from a bus stop. Leslie Paul Duke, another registered sex offender who was imprisoned for sexually assaulting his 4 daughters. Number 9, October 30th, 2003, a truck driver and a hotel worker in Linton, Indiana, both reported seeing a girl who resembled Tabitha. She appeared upset and frightened, accompanied by a man and another teenage girl. These claims was never formally substantiated, but Linton in Indiana is in a direct line of the highway with Nashville and could easily have been a stop into a trafficking operation. Nearby are roads into the Bloomington or the 1 to 70. Number 10. 2005 police raised some questions about Jamie, Tabitha's sister's boyfriend, and regarding issues with her story when 3 out of the 4 lie detector tests she had given had came back inconclusive. Jamie and her parents deny that she was involved, and that those acquainted with the situation said that Jamie was also always cooperative in the investigation, and still others noted that she protected her boyfriend and the guy was the one with the red car, and from being questioned, and his family defended him, which some find very questionable. Jamie had then said that one day I could be able to give you a big hug and tell you that I love you. I really do. The words have not come out of my mouth a lot, but I really do. And this is what she said on online. Number 11, in February 2016, a Hispanic male was brought in for some questioning in relation to this case, and he was later released and has been cleared from any form of involvement in this case. Then we have number 12, which is February 2020, which is the detectives for the first time. Not that there were tips suggesting the possibility that Tabitha had been pressured into drugs or into prostitution, that she might still be in fact alive today. Police confirmed some tips, continuing then that the report that claims that Tabitha was trafficked into a sex trade, possibly in Nashville itself, and some suggested that she was involved in prostitution along Dickerson Road and in Trinity Lane as well, which is as well known as the red light district in that area as well, and that is in Nashville. So there is a large intersection with 124 and 165, both major highways, 124 easily connects them with 169. That brings the driver up to Linton in Indiana. So there is thoughts that it is very heart-wrenching simply in how close the area is to Tabitha's home. There is a Reddit user that says that is a rumor places that the girl thought to be Tabitha as trafficked between Memphis and also in Nashville area as well. But it is not clear where this information has actually come from. So number 13, August 2020, police searched a Fosted farm in Bon Aqua, including a old abandoned home, and there is approximately 6 acres of land, and the Bon Aqua farm and the trailer park near the Tudors home both belonged to the primary suspect that is in Tabitha's disappearance. And Albert Franklin Jr. Franklin's trailer park was also a known site for many criminal type of activities that was going on there, and was also a place of some investigation tips, both at the time, and they had recently received suggestion that Tabitha may have also been seen around the trailer park when she had disappeared. The search ended then after 2 days without providing any evidence that Tabitha was actually in that area. However, the police have not ruled out a certain theory. So 14th, then we have a link to the other missing girls. So police have acknowledged that there may be a connection between the disappearance of a collection of many other girls in this area as well, of similar age across the southern US, specifically the disappearance of Shannon Nicole Polk and Georgia in 2001, and Teresa Melissa Dean, Georgia in 1999, and Heaven Lachey Ross in Alabama in 2003. Some believe that Tabitha should be added to this list as well, which is Tennessee, in 2003. So there is some form of similarities there. The age ranges was between 11 to 13. Teresa, Shannon, and Heaven were 11, and Tabitha was 13. All the genders were female. The demographics was Caucasian, fair skin, light hair, light eyes, similar build, exact hair and eye colours. Tabitha was blonde, blue eyes. Teresa was brunette, brown eyes. Heaven was red and hazel eyes. And Shannon was brunette, green or hazel eyes. Tabitha and Heaven were similar enough in an appearance that some missing person sites have mixed up their photos and taken from trailer parks. So Teresa, Shannon and Heaven were taken from their trailer parks where they lived, and Tabitha did not live in a trailer park. So tips suggested that she may have been seen at a nearby trailer park around the time of her disappearance, and however her neighbourhood was an older, poor and run-down form of a community. The times were August, 2 years apart. Teresa, Shannon and Heaven were all taken in mid-August, almost exactly 2 years apart. Teresa was 8th of the 15th, 1999. Shannon was 8th of the 16th, 2001. Heaven was 8th of the 19th, 2003. Tabitha does not fit this timeline, which was the 4th of the 29th, 2003. So circumstances was walking alone. Teresa, Heaven, Shannon, Tabitha were all walking alone around or near their homes at the time of their disappearances. Teresa, Shannon, Tabitha were all had a formal commercial construction going on near the path where they had walked. Tabitha and Heaven were also headed towards the bus stop for a school on a major highway. Major highways connected all 4 hometowns involving in Teresa's, Heaven's, Shannon's and Tabitha's disappearance, and Tabitha was possibly sighted in Linton at this time. which is also a major highway that was connected with others as well. And key descriptors in the 4 disappearances, so the date of birth, 15th of February 1990, age when disappeared was 13, ethnicity Caucasian, nationality American, gender at birth female, hair blonde, eye color blue, height 5'11", weight 100 pounds. Distinguishing mark or factors: pierced ears, scar on a finger, birthmark on his stomach, and freckles. The clothing was light blue shirt, mud jeans, Reebok shoes, blue jacket. If anyone has any information regarding this case, then they can please contact the Nashville Cold Case team on 615-862-7329 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222 or tips. So this is where I came in and I decided to do a tarot card reading on this case. There is some questions that I asked, which are: number 1, what happened to Tabitha Danielle Tudors? 2, who was involved in the disappearance of Tabitha Danielle Tudors? 3, where is Tabitha Danielle Tudors? And 4, what is the final outcome to be for Tabitha Danielle Tudors' case? Okay, what happened to Tabitha Danielle Tudors? We had the hangman. So there was a situation where something was put on hold due to a breakdown. Reverse 7 of Cups. There were several choices to choose from, but there were a lot of overwhelmness. They had to try and choose very much wisely. Reverse Star. There was a loss of faith and a struggle. There was also some overwhelmness. Reverse 6 of Pentacles. Someone took advantage of Tabitha and they had took a lot from her. 3 of Swords. She was deeply hurt, upset. Something just came right out of the blue. Who was involved in the disappearance of Tabitha Danielle Tudors? We have the 9 of Cups. So they did feel a bit smug and pleased with what they had did to Tabitha this time. Reverse Ace of Cups. They had some feelings and emotions that they had kept themselves. Reverse Sun. There was some sadness and a struggle. Queen of Swords. There is a female who was very cold-hearted, resentful, and tend to isolate herself. Queen of Wands. The female was very courageous, determined, fiery, and had a lot of ideas. She was friendly and a natural-born leader. Moon. There were some fears due to the past and painful memories. Where is Tabitha Danielle Tudors? Reverse Justice. Something was not morally right had happened. Someone ain't willing to take responsibility for their actions. Wheel of Fortune. There was a completion of a phase and a turning point and a travel overseas. 10 of Swords. She's possibly dead or hurt very badly due to a painful situation that came out of the blue. 3 of Swords. There's being heartbroken and frustrated. 4 of Swords. There's being at rest due to all that had happened to her. 4 of Wands. She's around a possible country setting, not far from a new building near that time. Also, there is hopefully to be returned home and to be found at this time. Reverse 8 of Wands. There was movements from one place to another. Reverse 3 of Pentacles. There's some discomfort and difficulty with someone and couldn't have any appropriate conversations. What is the final outcome to be for Tabitha Danielle Tudors? We have the 8 of Swords. There's to be frustrations and possibly finding her bound. Reverse Sun. There is to be sadness and some upsets. Page of Cups. There is to be unexpected surprise that will come out of the blue and have a discovery. Reverse 7 of Wands. There's to be a lot of pressures weighing down in the case, but they are to still keep fighting and stay strong. Reverse Strength. There's to be vulnerability and someone to have an explosive behavior. 3 of Wands. There's to be a travel over land and some expansion. 7 of Pentacles. There's to be frustration and energy being put into the case and a strong desire to get results of all the work, and it is to all be paid off, but it is to be some slow results and to appreciate the progress so far in the case. Okay then, so that is the case of Tabitha Danielle Tudors. If you enjoy my videos, please like, share, subscribe and hit the notification bell. If there's any other cases you would like me to do, please feel free to comment in the comment section below. Until next time, take care.